My wedding day was supposed to be the most magical day of my life. A day every girl dreams of. The moment when everything finally falls into place. When you walk into a new chapter surrounded by love, blessings, and acceptance. But for me, that dream was cracked before I even walked down the aisle. The person I thought would be standing by my side, the one who was supposed to hold my hand and give me away to the man I love, wasn't there. Not because he couldn't, not because fate didn't allow it, but because he chose not to. My father refused to walk me down the aisle, and the reason he gave cut deeper than anything else ever could. Your sister is uncomfortable. It felt like those words were knives to my chest. I had always looked up to my father, even through all the storms and disappointments in life. Deep inside, I carried that childlike belief that no matter what, he would always be there for me. But in that moment, he shattered it. To him, my sister's comfort mattered more than my happiness on the one day I had hoped he'd protect me, honor me, and stand proudly by my side. My heart broke into pieces, and though I stood tall in front of everyone, inside I felt like a little girl abandoned by the very man who was supposed to be my hero. When he said it, I thought maybe I had misheard him. I thought maybe he was joking in some twisted way or just trying to push me into begging, but he repeated it with the same coldness, as if my worth, my day, and my feelings were insignificant compared to my sister's discomfort. My sister, the one who had always been compared to me, always held as the golden child, the one who could do no wrong. She was the one who had everyone's sympathy, everyone's understanding, even when she didn't deserve it. And here I was again, standing in her shadow, even on my wedding day, told that my happiness had to bow down to hers. I remember the tears welling up in my eyes as I tried to keep my voice from breaking. Dad, this is my wedding day. You're supposed to walk me down the aisle. Please. My voice cracked, the please slipping out before I could swallow my pride. But he didn't move. He didn't soften. He looked at me with a sternness that felt like rejection itself, and he said, Your sister doesn't feel right about this, and I won't go against her. I couldn't breathe for a moment. The weight of those words pressed down on me like 1,000 pounds. What about me? Did I not matter at all? Did he not see me as his daughter too? Was my joy so disposable that he could throw it away because my sister was uncomfortable? I walked away from him, my chest heaving, my wedding dress feeling suddenly heavier, suffocating. Everyone else was preparing for the ceremony, but inside me there was a storm. I wanted to scream, I wanted to collapse, I wanted to rewind everything and never let myself hope that he would be different. But most of all, I felt a deep anger simmering inside me. Anger that once again, I had been put last. Anger that even on my most important day, my sister's fragile comfort meant more than my lifelong memory. The ceremony started. The music played. I stood at the entrance of the aisle, my hands trembling. Everyone was waiting. I had imagined this moment countless times, with my father standing proudly beside me, holding my hand as though I was still his little girl, giving me away with honor. But instead, I stood alone. For a second, I felt paralyzed, like I wouldn't be able to take a single step. But then I looked at the man waiting for me at the end of the aisle, the man who loved me, who chose me, who didn't care about comparisons or shadows, and I realized I didn't need my father to validate my worth in that moment. I could walk myself. So I lifted my chin, wiped my tears quickly before they could ruin my makeup, and I took that first step. Each step felt like defiance, like reclaiming the pieces of myself that had always been overlooked. People whispered, people wondered, but I walked with strength I didn't know I had. My father sat there, stone-faced, my sister beside him with that smug look she always wore when she knew she had won. But this time, it wasn't victory for her. This time, I was breaking free. When I reached the end of the aisle, my fiancé took my hands, and in that touch, I felt all the love, all the support, all the security I had been denied from my family. The ceremony continued beautifully. But inside, I was vowing not only to love my husband, but also to never again allow myself to be diminished for someone else's comfort. After the wedding, everyone asked why my father didn't walk me. Some pitied me, some judged, but many admired the way I walked alone, holding my dignity in my own hands, and I could see the questions in my father's eyes too. He expected me to break down, to beg, to make him feel powerful. But instead, he saw me stand stronger without him than I ever had with him. and that was when regret started to creep into his face. I didn't need to scream at him. I didn't need to lash out. My silence and strength did more damage than words ever could. Days passed, and slowly, the regret began to show. He tried to call me, tried to start conversations as if nothing had happened. But every time I looked at him, I saw the man who chose my sister's feelings over my life's most precious moment. I didn't answer his calls right away. I let him sit with the weight of his decision, because I wanted him to feel what I had felt: abandoned, unimportant, dismissed. I heard from relatives that he had started snapping at people when they asked about the wedding, that he avoided talking about why he didn't walk me down the aisle. Shame was catching up to him. People told him he had been wrong, that he had broken his daughter's heart, that no father should ever do what he did. And that was the beginning of his regret. But regret doesn't erase the pain. Regret doesn't give me back the memory I lost. I will never have a photo of my father walking me down the aisle, never have that once, in a lifetime moment. It's gone forever because he chose someone else's comfort over my happiness. And that wound, no matter how much time passes, will always ache. Still, I have changed because of it. I've realized that sometimes family can hurt you more deeply than anyone else, and sometimes you have to let go of the hope that they'll be the people you want them to be. I've realized that I don't need anyone's approval to stand strong, that I can carry myself, even when those who should support me turn away. And I've realized that regret is its own punishment. My father will carry the memory of watching me walk alone, knowing he could have been beside me but wasn't. And that memory will haunt him far more than my anger ever could. Because every time he thinks back to that day, he will remember the music playing, the guests rising, the eyes on me as I walked forward in my wedding dress. And he will remember sitting down, doing nothing, letting his daughter walk alone while he stayed frozen in place. He will remember the look of quiet strength on my face, strength that proved I no longer needed him the way I once did. And in that, he will know he lost something he can never get back. That's how I made him regret it. Not by fighting, not by screaming, but by living, by showing him that his rejection didn't break me, it built me. By showing him that his absence on my wedding day didn't leave me empty. It left him empty, and as much as it still hurts, as much as the little girl in me still longs for a father who would choose me just once over my sister, I have accepted the truth. Sometimes you don't get the father you deserve, but you can still become the person you were meant to be. Stronger, wiser, unshakable. And when my father looks at me now, he doesn't see the daughter who begged for his approval. He sees the woman who walked down the aisle alone and never looked back.